Okay, here we have something a lot of people want, but they can't get because they don't make enough of them. A Rav4 Prime, where you can plug it in and you can drive anywhere from 40 to 50 miles on electricity alone. Then the regular motor kicks in, so you're not going to get stranded. Now, this guy bought it brand new. It's a 2021. He's already put 144,000 miles. What does he do? He takes people back and forth to Logan Airport, right? And so, being a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid, he gets phenomenal gas mileage for a vehicle of this size. It's nice looking inside, so he gets a lot of people that want to ride in it. This vehicle is actually making him money. Now, so far, he told me he's had zero problems. Just changing the oil and filter, you know, that's pretty much it. Now, this is a question that people have always asked me. They say, Scotty, what's more important with electric hybrid vehicles, mileage or time? Well, in this case, it's time. Because he's putting this mileage on so fast at somewhat higher speeds, it's probably equivalent to having maybe, I don't know, 35, 40,000 miles on it, because it's all just driving. And that doesn't bother the hybrid battery. As they age, batteries decompose, right? Well, maybe 10 years from now, the battery will go. Who knows, right? But it still works perfectly fine. Now, we're going to test it with my fancy machine to see what's left of it. I'm sure there's still a lot, but we're going to test it scientifically. But overall, the main reason you can't get one is they're so popular, Toyota can't make enough, and they got people waiting in line. They have a beautiful interior, and they've got a lot of space, in this case, for driving people to the airport and back. Now, this is a plug-in hybrid, meaning that it's got two gas ports. Well, one gas port's for gasoline, and on the other side, it may look like a gas port, but that's where you plug in the electric leads to charge up the battery. He's gone between 40 and 50 miles on electricity alone. It is able to drive on electricity alone. If you want to experiment with electric cars, to me, this would be the best thing to do. And this is why you really can't find one, because Toyota sells them so fast, they can't make them fast enough. It can go 40, 50 miles of electricity. Let's say you commute 20 miles. Charge it up at night. You may never have to use the gasoline motor hardly at all. I had a customer with one. I said, how much gasoline have you gone through since you bought the car? And it was 2 years old. He said, I don't know. He said, I think I bought 20 gallons of gasoline so far, because he went to work. It was a 20-mile commute, and he just charged it up. Now, in that case, if you do buy a vehicle like that, I'd advise you to drive it more on a highway when the battery's a little bit low, just to get the gasoline out, because gasoline will go bad over time. So you would use it once in a while. But he's taking people to the airport and stuff, so the motor's going to turn itself on anyways. He's driving all day long. You put on that kind of mileage in 2 years, let me tell you, you're driving all over the place. Now, the interesting thing about this plug-in hybrid is this. The battery is under the back seat. Most plug-in hybrids and full electric cars hide the battery under the car because of weight distribution. This 2021 has it under the back seat, which is a great idea, because if you watch it in my videos, big, heavy electric batteries that they put under the car, they'll either have a metal cover or a plastic cover, but there's plenty of holes. So if you live up north, like this guy does, Massachusetts, all that salt water that comes from the salt on the highway in the winter, or if you go to the beach, it will get in there. It will destroy the electric battery, all the 12-volt systems that turn the big voltage on, all the transformers and switches that are under there, they rust, they get corroded, and they fall apart. This baby's inside the car, sealed from the atmosphere. And that's the difference generally in Toyotas and the well-built Japanese cars. Anyway, even before they had hybrids and all that stuff, the Japanese would hide their computers inside the car where they're safe, where the Americans would put them under the hood where it's hot, rainwater would get in, and that's why you will buy computers all the time for American cars, but Toyotas, hardly ever. I think I bought 2 computers in my life for Toyotas. One was actually a Lexus, and it was a design flaw, and the other one had gone underwater in Galveston Bay. We want the battery sealed in the car, not under the car, so it's a better design to begin with. Now, when you look under the hood, if you don't like new technology, well, you'll like this, because this is actually for Toyota old technology. It's a 2.5-liter, 4-cylinder inline Atkinson cycle engine to get better gas mileage, hooked up to the high-voltage electric system to run the electric motor. You put them together, you get over 300 horsepower. It is super fast. But at the same time, he can get 39 miles a gallon on this thing driving in a fast lane, an HOV lane. Hey, you can't beat something like that. For a car that looks this good, it's got a gas mileage, and it's never broken down yet. Sure, it isn't that old, but it's got over 100-something thousand miles on it. And it's proven that this technology has been out in the Priuses for a long time, and Toyota knows what they're doing. Interestingly enough, the Primes, which is their top line ones that are plug-in hybrids, they use a lithium-ion battery. You're really better off if you get your hands on one of these to get a Prime. To me, it's just a good way to experiment. They're better built, and yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more for them, but they last so long. In his case, he's amortizing it all. It's his business vehicle, right? It's a tax write-off for him. Doesn't do anything except change the engine oil and filter. So we're going to hook our computer up and see what it says. It's got an OBD port here, just like a regular car. We'll do intelligent diagnosis, and we're talking to Toyota. Here we go. We know it's a RAV4, 144,698 miles. So we're going to look inside. Look, it's got all kinds of charging, eco, power. You get all kinds of information. It does all the CAN network. So we're going to do a smart scan and scan the whole thing. And while it's doing it, we'll see. You can do eco, you can do sport, you can do trail, you can do EV only, see how long it'll go on an electric vehicle. You can do auto EV when it'll do EV when it's the best and regular when not. We're talking about all kinds of choices in this thing. And it's got a really nice glass sunroof. Seats are very comfy. Like I say, a lot of room in the back seat. That stitching adds a bit of class, even on the armrest. Well, it's done now, and what has it found wrong? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with this thing. Even though it's got 144,000 something miles on it. Hybrid control, and you can see there's 328 data. All right, there's data up the wazoo. An insane amount of information you can get out of this thing. You can do the auxiliary battery and the regular battery. Before trips, after trips. Voltage of the hybrid battery. You look at the hybrid state of charge. In this case, 72.15%. He's been driving a little, 1280 watts. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, but as you see, if there is a problem, you can do all kinds of actuation tests, activate the water pump, control the motor, cooling oil pump, do a compression test of the engine, because it does have a regular engine. And it's got a bunch of special functions too. Inspection mode, check mode, EV, cruising range reset, coolant replacement. Of course, a machine like this will do ADAS calibration in case you get in a wreck. And the work has to be done to the bumpers and the sensors. You can recalibrate it using one of these machines. So here we go, it's running. You can see it's got a nice backup camera and it makes a strange noise. Now, they have to make noise when they're going under 20. I don't know why they don't have to make car noises, but it is a nice backup camera. You can really see things here. Normally, I wouldn't go this fast, but this one I trust. And I will have to look to see if my neighbor's coming, because he's on the side. Extremely quiet, but it's like a RAV4 on steroids, of course, because it has over 300 horsepower. We'll go over the bump. It's relatively high. We don't really have to worry about anything. And you can see it's showing the whole thing. Eco, and if we floor it, of course, turns the motor on in power. We're going to take it up to the highway to see how it takes off. But meanwhile, here's the rough roads of Rhode Island. I do have to say, it's a pretty smooth ride for an SUV, right? It's not bouncing all over the place. And this is a horrible road. If you remember, I did a video the other day with a Fiat Abarth. I think it knocked a couple of fillings out of my teeth, but this thing, hey, it's a decent ride for this bumpy road. So here we go. Give it a little acceleration test. We'll give it some gas. Woo! Started to peel those tires. Of course, it would have peeled more, but the traction control that's kept it from doing it. But yeah, look, you want to take off, floor, there goes the motor. Whee! It's a fun little car to drive. It's much better handling than the older RAV4s. Of course, it's got regenerative braking, regenerate power. That's how it gets good gas mileage, even though it's an all-wheel drive vehicle. You got to consider that. Here, look, it says you can go 31 miles on electric and 234 miles on HV. And that's because he's almost half out of gas. This owner told me he's gone well over 500 miles before he had to put gas in this thing. He charged it up overnight, filled it up with gas. He could go over 500 miles between fueling up. And unlike a full electric car, he can just fill it up with gasoline. He doesn't have to sit there and plug it in and wait. And here we go again, taking off. Nice whiz. If I was gonna buy a plug-in hybrid, this is definitely the one I'd buy. But of course, I'm too cheap, so oh, maybe I'll buy one when it's used. A RAV4 Prime. Guy's making money with it, driving people to Logan Airport and back. He loves it. It gets phenomenal gas mileage. And he was lucky because he bought it a couple years ago and he paid list price. They wanted thousands more, but he argued, walked out, and he got it at list. You'll probably never get one at list price for quite some time because I've seen people pay $8,000, $9,000 over list for these things if they really wanted one because Toyota can't make enough of them. This is such a popular vehicle. The problem is they can't make enough of them. So a battery that's hidden inside the back, not on the bottom where the salt will corrode it, this thing's going to go a long way compared to, say, an electric car where you got to wait to charge it up. He charges this thing overnight on just 110 volts at his house. He didn't even put a 220 thing in. And he can go back and forth and not have to worry about it. And then when he runs out of electricity, away he goes another 500 miles on gasoline. So, really interesting car. Now you know the technology that's behind it. So you can make a wise choice if you can find one of these things. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.